Have you ever noticed something strange? You start feeling better about yourself. You take better care of your body. You dress a little nicer. You stop chasing people. You smile more. You become more confident. And suddenly, people start acting different. The same person who barely noticed you before is now watching your every move. The friend who used to call you all the time suddenly becomes distant. Someone starts giving you strange little comments like, "Oh, so you think you're too good for us now?" And you are standing there thinking, "What did I do?" Maybe nothing. Maybe the biggest thing you did was finally start becoming comfortable with yourself. Because attraction is not only about having a beautiful face, expensive clothes, or looking 25 when you are 65. Sometimes you become more attractive when you finally stop carrying the weight of everyone else's opinion. You stand differently. You speak differently. You choose yourself differently, and people notice. Carl Jung believed that what we see in other people can sometimes awaken things hidden inside ourselves. So when you begin to shine, it can bring out love in some people, but it can also bring out jealousy, insecurity, competition, regret, and even betrayal. Yes, betrayal. Because not everybody is happy when you become the best version of yourself. Some people loved you more when you were confused. Some people felt comfortable when you doubted yourself. And some people secretly preferred you when you were easier to control. So today we are talking about 7 people who may secretly change when you start becoming more attractive. And number 7, that one can hurt the most, because you may not see it coming. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you may understand why some people suddenly changed when you started changing. And please, somewhere in this video, I want you to tell me in the comments, have you ever become a better version of yourself and noticed people around you acting strange? I really want to hear your story. Now, let's get into it. 1. The friend who suddenly starts competing with you. This one is very common. You start looking better, feeling better, living better. Maybe after retirement, you finally have time to take care of yourself. You start walking in the morning. You fix your sleep. You find a hobby. You lose a little weight. You start wearing clothes that make you feel good. Nothing dramatic. You are just enjoying your life. Then suddenly, your friend changes. Before, you could tell them good news and they would say, "That's wonderful." Now you tell them good news and somehow, the conversation becomes about them. You say, "I've been walking every morning." They say, "Oh, I've been doing that for years." You say, "People keep telling me I look younger." They say, "Well, good lighting can make anybody look younger." Oh, yes. Suddenly the lighting is responsible for your whole face. You get a compliment, and they find a way to make it smaller. You achieve something, and they quickly tell you something bigger they did. And you start feeling it. This is no longer friendship. This is a quiet competition you never agreed to join. And here is the funny part. You may not even be competing with them at all. You are simply living your life. But your growth has touched something inside them. Carl Jung spoke deeply about the hidden parts of the human personality. Sometimes when we see someone becoming what we wish we could become, it brings our own insecurity to the surface. And instead of saying, "I feel insecure," some people compete. Instead of saying, "I wish I had your confidence," they try to outshine you. Instead of celebrating you, they start measuring themselves against you. That is why you should pay attention to the energy after you share good news. A real friend may say, "Look at you, I'm happy for you." A jealous friend may smile with their mouth, while their spirit is already checking the scoreboard. And let me say this clearly. You do not need to become smaller so your friends can feel taller. If your growth makes someone uncomfortable, that does not mean your growth is wrong. Keep becoming better. Keep becoming happier. Keep taking care of yourself. The right people will not see your light as an attack. They will see it as something beautiful. And sometimes your confidence may even inspire them to grow too. 2. The person who ignored you, but suddenly notices you. Now this one can be very interesting, because some people have a strange talent. They cannot see you when you are available, but the moment you stop chasing them, suddenly they discover their eyesight. You become more confident. You become busy with your own life. You stop sending the first message every single time. You stop begging for attention. And now? Hey, stranger. Oh, now you remember me. Where were you when I was sending all those messages and getting replies that looked like they were written by somebody running out of battery? Okay. Yeah. Lol. That was the whole relationship. But now that you are becoming more attractive and more confident, they suddenly want to know how you are doing. This can happen with an old crush, an old friend, an ex, or someone who simply took you for granted. And please understand something. Being noticed is not always the same as being valued. Some people notice you more because other people are noticing you. Some people become interested because you are no longer easy to access. Some people want your attention simply because they feel they are losing it. That does not always mean they have changed. Sometimes they are just reacting to your change. So do not get too excited simply because someone who ignored you has suddenly become sweet. Look at the pattern. Ask yourself, where was this energy before I started changing? Because attraction can bring people closer, but character tells you why they came closer, and that is something you should never ignore. 3. The friend who starts making jokes about your new confidence. The famous joke. You start feeling good about yourself. You post a nice picture. You wear something beautiful. You walk into the room with confidence. And somebody says, "Wow, somebody is feeling themselves today." Now sometimes that is innocent, but sometimes that joke has a little jealousy hiding inside it. They say, "Since when did you become a fashion model?" Or, "Look at you acting all important." Or, "Oh, please don't forget us now that you're famous." And everybody is supposed to laugh. But something about it does not feel warm. Because some jokes are not jokes. Some jokes are messages wearing a funny hat. And if you understand people, you will notice the difference. A loving joke makes you feel included. A jealous joke tries to make you feel small. That is the difference. When you become more attractive, more confident, or more successful, some people may use humor to pull you back into the version of you they were comfortable with. Especially if you used to be quiet, if you used to hide, if you used to say yes to everything. Now suddenly you have boundaries. Now suddenly you say what you think. Now suddenly you do not apologize for existing, and people say, "You've changed." Yes, that is the point. You were supposed to change. You were supposed to grow. Imagine planting a seed and then getting angry because one day it became a tree. That makes no sense. Growth is not betrayal. Taking care of yourself is not arrogance. Feeling attractive does not mean you think you are better than everybody. It simply means you have finally stopped treating yourself like you do not matter. And if someone makes a joke every time you feel good about yourself, pay attention. They may be laughing, but they may also be testing how much confidence they can take away from you. 4. The old friend who starts telling people stories about the old you. This one happens a lot, especially when you really start changing. Maybe you used to be shy. Maybe you used to struggle. Maybe you made mistakes. Maybe you went through a difficult season. Now you are doing better. You are peaceful. You look healthier. You carry yourself differently. And suddenly, somebody from your past starts bringing up old stories. Do you remember when you used to? Back then you were not like this. You should have seen them years ago. Why? Because sometimes people feel more comfortable with the version of you they can explain. The old you made sense to them. The new you is harder to understand. And sometimes they keep talking about your past because it helps them avoid dealing with your present. But listen carefully. Your past is not a prison sentence. You are allowed to become someone different. You are allowed to heal from the things that once controlled you. You are allowed to look better than you did 10 years ago. You are allowed to be happier after retirement than you were when you were working every day. You are allowed to discover a new version of yourself at 60, 70, or even 80. Life does not say, "Sorry, you are 70 now, no more upgrades." No. Some people become more attractive later in life because they finally become comfortable in their own skin. They stop trying to impress everybody. They stop wearing masks. They start enjoying small things: a walk, good music, a hobby, a peaceful home, a real conversation, and honestly, that kind of peace can make a person glow. So if somebody keeps trying to introduce you to the world as your old self, do not fight them too hard. Just keep becoming the new you. Eventually, reality will speak louder than their stories. 5. The person who becomes cold when other people start admiring you. Now let's talk about this one. You may notice that some people are perfectly fine with you, until other people start seeing your value. That is when things change. Maybe you walk into a room and people compliment you. Maybe your videos start getting attention. Maybe people want to talk to you more. Maybe you become more confident and suddenly others are naturally drawn to you. And one particular person? They become cold, quiet, distant, sometimes even rude. Why? Because your value becoming visible to other people can change the way they see you. And here is the uncomfortable truth. Some people only respected your value when they thought nobody else wanted it. The moment other people started appreciating you, they suddenly felt nervous. Now they are asking themselves, did I miss something? Was this person always special? Why are people paying attention to them? And sometimes regret enters the room. Maybe they had a chance to treat you better. Maybe they took you for granted. Maybe they thought you would always be there. And now, seeing other people admire you reminds them of what they failed to appreciate. But please do not use this moment to become proud. You do not need to make people jealous on purpose. You do not need to post things just to prove a point. The best glow-up is the one you do for yourself. Not revenge, not attention, not because somebody rejected you. Do it because you deserve to feel alive in your own life. And that is something I think people of every age can understand. Whether you are Gen Z, 35, 55, or enjoying retirement at 75, you do not expire. You do not stop being interesting. You do not stop being attractive. You can still learn. You can still dress well. You can still fall in love with life. You can still walk into a room and make somebody think, wow, there is something different about that person, and that something may simply be the peace you finally found. 6. The friend who starts pulling away. And you don't know why this one can hurt, because there may be no argument, no big fight, no goodbye. They just slowly disappear. The messages become fewer, the calls stop, the energy changes, and you are left wondering, what happened? Sometimes the answer has nothing to do with something you did wrong. Sometimes your growth makes people uncomfortable because it reminds them that they are standing still. And please hear me carefully. That does not make them evil. Sometimes people are fighting battles you cannot see. They may look at your confidence and feel their own lack of confidence. They may see you enjoying life and remember how unhappy they feel. They may see you becoming attractive and feel invisible. This is very human. But there is another side. Some friends enjoyed having access to the version of you who needed them. Maybe you were always calling them for advice. Maybe you were always asking for approval. Maybe you always needed them to feel okay. But now, you trust yourself. You can make decisions. You can enjoy your own company. And suddenly, the relationship feels different, because it was built partly on your dependence. Now that you are stronger, they do not know where they fit. And that can reveal something painful. Some people love being needed more than they love you. Think about that for a second. They love being the important one, the rescuer, the person with all the answers. But when you finally stand on your own feet, the relationship loses the role they were attached to. That is why growth can change relationships, and sometimes you have to let people decide whether they can love the stronger version of you. You cannot keep pretending to be weak just to make a relationship feel balanced. You are allowed to grow. You are allowed to become emotionally stronger. You are allowed to become attractive in ways that have nothing to do with your face. There is something deeply attractive about a person who knows themselves. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." And that is powerful, because when you start understanding yourself, you stop being easily controlled by hidden fears. You begin to see patterns. You begin to notice who celebrates you, who competes with you, who only comes around when they need something, and who quietly disappears when you no longer play the role they wanted. That awareness changes everything. 7. The person who may secretly betray you now. Here we are. Number 7, and this one is important. Because when you become more attractive, more confident, or more valuable in the eyes of others, not everyone will simply walk away. Some people stay close, very close, but inside something has changed. This can be the person who starts sharing your private information. The person who smiles with you but speaks differently about you when you are not there. The person who knows your insecurities and suddenly uses them as entertainment. The person who supports you in front of your face, but secretly feels happy when something goes wrong for you. That kind of betrayal can hurt because you trusted them. And sometimes the betrayal does not come from an enemy. It comes from somebody who had a seat at your table. This is why becoming more attractive can reveal people. When you are doing well, you learn who can handle your happiness. When you are growing, you learn who feels threatened by your growth. When people admire you, you learn who can celebrate you without feeling smaller. And when life becomes better for you, you may discover who was only comfortable with you when you were struggling. That is a painful lesson, but it is also a gift. Because betrayal is information. It shows you where trust should no longer live. And please remember this. Do not become bitter. Become wiser. Do not start hating everybody. Do not assume every person is jealous of you. That will only make you lonely and suspicious. Stay kind. Stay open. But pay attention. Let people's actions teach you who they are. You do not need to chase explanations from everyone. Sometimes the change in their behavior is already the explanation. And one more thing. Do not spend your whole life trying to prove that you are a good person to someone who is determined to misunderstand you. You have better things to do. You have a life to live, a body to take care of, a mind to protect, a future to enjoy, and maybe, just maybe, a beautiful new version of yourself waiting to come out. So what do you do when people start changing? You stay calm. You do not start performing for people. You do not become less attractive just to make somebody comfortable. You do not hide your confidence. You do not stop growing, but you also stay humble. Because real attractiveness is not standing on a mountain shouting, "Look how amazing I am." Real attractiveness is quiet. It is the way you treat people, the way you carry peace, the way you respect yourself, the way you do not need to chase every person who walks away. It is knowing that not everybody has to like you, and not everybody who likes you has to stay close. Some people are only meant to be part of one chapter, and that is okay. So if you have noticed people acting differently since you started feeling better about yourself, do not panic. Do not immediately blame yourself. Ask yourself, Have I become more confident? Have I stopped chasing people? Have I started setting boundaries? Have I started taking care of myself? Have I finally started seeing my own value? Because sometimes the biggest change is not that people changed. Sometimes you changed, and now you can finally see people clearly. That is a different kind of attractiveness. Not just a beautiful face, not just a good body, not just nice clothes, but clear eyes, a strong heart, a peaceful mind, and the courage to be yourself. So tell me in the comments, which of these 7 people have you experienced in your own life? Was it a competitive friend, someone who ignored you and suddenly came back, someone who made jealous jokes, or someone who secretly betrayed your trust? Your story may help somebody watching this video who is going through the same thing right now, and if this video made you think about someone, don't send it to them, just smile. Sometimes peace is the best response. And if you enjoyed this video, subscribe and join us here. Let's build this channel together, one honest conversation at a time, because here you do not have to pretend, you do not have to be perfect, and you do not have to become smaller to make other people comfortable. Keep growing, keep glowing, keep choosing yourself. And remember, the right people will never be afraid of the light in you. They will simply be happy to see you shine. See you in the next one.